Hello ladies, I'm Mrs. Sherman and I have a blog. If you would like to go over there and watch this video, I'd really appreciate it. You can't comment here on the YouTube channel because I am saving it all in one place and I'm making these videos for my blog. YouTube is just a holding place for me. And today I have three things to do, and I'd like to welcome all of you who are new and tell you that this is Housewife Radio, something you can listen to as you go. You know, there are so many nice things to see on the web, and I just love watching cooking videos and crafting videos, decorating. It's very exciting, but I have to sit still or stand still, and it takes time. So I decided to make a video where you could listen as you work. When I'm working, and I'm especially doing something tedious like sorting through books or stacking something or folding laundry or cleaning out a drawer, even cooking, I like to hear something in the background, whether it's some favorite music or a favorite video that I don't actually watch. I like to listen to and sometimes learn some of the clever quotes, which I use on you here listening to me. And I also would like you to leave a comment if you would and tell me what all you did. It's always interesting to see what people do and how much they get done in an hour. I can't guarantee I can talk for an hour, but I certainly will try. And today I have some things to read to you that will extend that time a little bit. Now, I don't ever wear gray, and I never decorate my home in gray, but gray is on the market right now, and it's very inexpensive, and I needed some covers for my furniture, and so this is what you see in the background is a lot of gray. It looks pretty good with pink. This is a pearl gray, kind of a silver gray, and has a sheen to it, and I'm wearing a gray sweater coat that I got at Walmart. Everything I have on today I got at Walmart, including the jewelry, and the jewelry is not anything expensive. Sometimes it goes down to $4 when they're trying to clear a certain cache and go into some new trend. And so I'm wearing a brand they had called White Stag, which they sold 100% cotton t-shirts in different colors, and another brand called No Boundaries. Now my favorite is Time and True, but some of these others are very nice too, especially if they don't cost very much. And what I like about Walmart, it's fresh, it's new, it's updated. It's mostly started out being for country people. In fact, I'd like to read to you out of Sam Walton's The Walmart book someday as to why he started his stores and what they originally were for. They were for country people so they could find everything in one place. You could go get a toothbrush and a pair of shoes at the same place and not have to hunt around. He had a saying that he didn't like to have to dust off the hammer back in the dark area of the store that had been there for years and buy it, and he wanted his floors to be really clean and for the merchandise to be moved around, to be fresh, to be neatly packaged, to be always appealing. And I was thinking from his book that I had read, which I'll read to you another time, how much our homes, we should feel like that in our homes, that things that we have should be, you go through them and you clean them and put them away, including books, and make it a refreshing place to be. And so today I have three things for you, as usual. This is kind of what has gone on. But before you start working, which I hope you will, because there isn't anything to see here after I show you my teacup. And I told you I don't wear gray very much and I don't use it much in my home, but I made an exception because these things were available. I have a gray teacup, and so I wanted to show you that. See how nice that is, and it's it's from Home Goods, and it's called Grace's Teaware, not Gracie's Teaware. Now there were three brands there. One was Grace Porcelain, one was Gracie's Teaware, and one was Grace's Teaware. These are really nice, though. I really, really like these. Dishwasher safe, microwave safe. I don't use microwave anymore, but I love that gray flower. I didn't ever think I would like gray. You know, you think of gray days and everything, but I'm feeling pretty good about everything. Gray doesn't bother me anymore. And so today we'll have three things to do. Number one is get yourself ready. That means take care of your appearance, put on your clothes, put on your face, fix your hair, and a little bit of scent, and get ready for your beautiful home and your beautiful life. and your beautiful children and your husband, and tell them all that life to you is so exciting that you have to get dressed up, and it's so exciting to have them around that you want to dress up for them. And so we want to start using our appearance as kind of a ministry. It's something you can do. I know many people think that they're not very effective in influencing others or teaching, or that they're not, they don't really have any significance or importance. But if you will dress up and take care of yourself, take care of your skin, take care of your hair, there's a great significance in that and a great influence in that, and you will find out as time goes by. And so today I also would like to talk about a few other things and homemaking. If you're having trouble getting started, I think the best thing to do is make yourself a list of things that you have to do and things you would like to do. And I'll just tell you a little bit about the old days growing up in the 1950s. Our mothers didn't think that, they thought housekeeping was necessary, and they did it as quickly as they could and as well as they could, and then they went and did something else. Like I grew up in a fishing village in Alaska, and my mother loved to fish, and she loved her garden, and she loved many other things. And so the idea was get those dishes done, get the laundry done, and let's go somewhere, and let's go do something. And so we went on lots of nature walks, we went on picnics, we went to see the sunset at the ocean, and we did many other things. So cleaning house was something we all participated in and got it over with so we could go do something. And so that's the way I approach it too. I'd like to get it done. Some days maybe not. Maybe I'd like to just do it all day, just because it relaxes me, or because I like to take my time. Other days I want to get it done so I can get in my sewing room and go do some sewing. And so today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about sayings and about people, and a little bit about homemaking. And so homemaking is not all necessarily work. A lot of it is just being there. So even if you're not feeling very well and you're not, just kind of like in a slump, it's important that you are there, because it puts an atmosphere in the home. You ever gone home when you were small? Remember when you were little and you went home and for some reason your mother was not there? How the house seemed so lonely, so empty, almost eerie without the presence of your mother. So even if you don't have children, your presence in the home is so important. And I learned a long time ago that it was probably better for me to stay than it was for me to leave, because if I came home, I would come home to a quiet and empty house, and it was hard to get it, feeling adjusted again and getting it back into feeling like it was a homey place. So to me, to stay home is wonderful. And we live in such a wonderful era. We can order a lot of things off of the web, and before that, we had catalogs. You can have a lot of things delivered to you. However, it is stimulating to go out to the market, see what's going on, see what they have for the home. And so it's important that you have a balance of that and that you do some of that too. Now, I also want to talk about a couple of books. And people have been asking me about these coffee table books, and I don't have any new ones. I think you could probably just go to a bookstore and look around and see, just look for gift books and see what you could have. And I had previously told you about the Brownlow books, and they had, in the 1990s, had done a series of little gift books. And this one is called Beside Still Waters, and there are a lot of paintings in it of course, sheep, and there's a lot of sayings in here, a lot of beautiful paintings. And at the back, I think they have a list of what the paintings are, or where they came from. It's from the Fine Art Photographic Library, and the illustrations. And so it's for ladies and children, but it still makes a lovely coffee table book. And this is the end papers right here. Really nice, just a nice, and it was done in 1997, I believe. So I will take a picture of this and put it on my post, so that you can order it, find it somewhere, maybe at Thrift Books, A Books, or something like that, or just anywhere. And then the other thing that I'd like to talk to you about is feeding the senses in the home, or educating the senses. And so this book was one of my favorite, and it also, I believe, was written in the 1990s. Just let me check here. It was 1996. So a lot of these things came out in the 1990s, and this one is called Creating a Sensational Home. Not sensational like sins, but sense, like the scent, you know. And so she also had she has beautiful line drawings and colored line drawings in here that I just love, of the home, of different rooms. And she had a page in here that I had read, which I don't want to find right now, about how things like the sense of smell, the taste, and hearing and touching and all that all have to be renewed. They don't last. Like, you might have something to eat, it tastes good, but again you will be hungry again. And something that you smell, maybe you have a nice scent in the house somewhere, but the next day you'll have to renew that scent and make it sensey again. And so she just talks about how these things are daily, they have to be renewed. And I thought that was so interesting. You know, there are some things you do to the structure of the home that don't need changing, but this is the senses of the home. And so she has a section on, I will just read to you the names of the chapters if she has them listed. And her first page is called Making Sense of It All. And she just divides it up into the senses and shows how to make your home beautiful by the senses. And she even had one about, it's called a glimpse in sight, and she talks about how to make your home nice to look at. And she has several chapters in here on how to make your home nice to with nice sounds in it, and just the senses, how to be comfortable. And she had a page in here about how if you really wanted to get it to be sensational, your home, you had to clean it, and you had to, she emphasized that quite a bit. So I'll read some of that to you. Okay, that's on page 36. Clean it up and clear it out. It is impossible to have any beauty without order. Before you can bring beauty to your living room, or any room, you must first bring order to it. When you look out your window at the beautiful nature that God has created, notice the soothing sense of order. Beauty replenishes, while disorder drains. Isn't that the truth? Disorder causes confusion and clutters the mind. It distracts your eyes from enjoying that which is beautiful. You know, I was talking to a woman who said she used to get up in the morning just totally bewildered and confused all the time, and felt upset and confused all day long. But when she started to get everything in order and to clean every single day, she said her mind settled down and she was just able to walk about in peace. Disorder causes confusion and clutters the mind. It distracts your eyes from enjoying that which is beautiful. Isn't that the truth? Since most living rooms are the intersections for the highways of busy home life, they have a tendency to attract clutter. But be encouraged, there are simple solutions to keeping clutter under control. Endless books on organization are available today, and there are even stores that specialize in organizational products for the home. I love to use baskets to keep my home life organized. Not only are they decorative and natural looking, they come in all sizes, shapes, and colors to suit whatever I need to store. Baskets with lids are especially attractive because they hide their contents while keeping what I need conveniently close at hand. If organization is not one of your talents, ask an organized friend to help you get started. It is the first step towards creating a home that is pleasing to the eye. And then she goes on with different ways to organize and beautify at the same time. Those two books, this is also a very nice coffee table book. What I do sometimes, if the jacket isn't as pretty or I don't like it, I take it off and just display the book like that. You can also recover your books using special papers and scrapbook papers. You can cover them in the colors that go with your living room, and you can put your title on, write your title on it with a stencil. I've seen people do that. That's just very charming. And so now I'm going to move on to some sayings. First, I'm going to go to why, when you're keeping house, it has a very strong value. And that is because no matter what's going on in the world, and you know, today we're just bombarded with news, and it's always about something that is upsetting. And when you think of what you're doing with cleaning house and making it beautiful and creating a sensational home, it has nothing to do with all that, does it? And it benefits your mind and others' emotions more than the sensational news. So create a sensational home and ignore the sensational news. And these things are very lasting. When I ask about my great-grandmother, my aunt always tells me she was like a little bird, and she would just flit about moving things and cleaning things and taking care of things, and she was busy. And so we don't really, we look at those people as people who are focused and they have a strong love for their little nest. And you know, some of these great grandparents that we had, including you, probably didn't live in very grand homes, and they had little farmhouses which probably over the years have deteriorated, and yet these people at one time lived there and loved these houses. So I think they're so important, and a house especially is important for a woman because she has to have a place that she can function in as a homemaker, that she can move things around in, that she can clean things, arrange things, and do what she wants to do in the kitchen and in cooking. And in the USA mainly, our kitchens belong to us as women, and although the men might come in and do something or get something to eat or fix themselves a cup of coffee, they generally don't control most of the kitchen. The women like to do that. That's their realm. That's their home. That's what they love. And so my husband likes to bring home the groceries. It's something he can do on the way home from somewhere. He gets to walk around and look at all the new things and sample all the new foods that they have out there. And so he does take part in the kitchen, but he likes to keep it stocked. He likes to have the pantry full of food, the refrigerator full of food, and everything. And because he's always thinking about an emergency. There might be an emergency. So I want to talk about someone named Edmund B Layton. And I have had some of his paintings from the 1800s displayed on my blog in posts over the years. And one of the things that I noticed is someone had written a comment about him in one of my posts. I'll try to find that post, or just write Edmund B Layton on your search area up there on the corner, left-hand corner of my blog, and you might be able to find some things about him and the comments. And one of the comments was, during his lifetime, and it was 18-something to 1904, something like that, she mentioned all the things that had gone on in the world, including newspaper headlines, wars, threats of financial disaster, depressions, all kinds of things. And she said, and yet he painted those beautiful paintings, and he continued on painting them. And you know, we have to do that because you can't wait for the world to settle down. You just can't. It's not going to. And as you get older, some of you who are older now can look back and think, why was I so worried? This just has gone on and on and on, you know. It would have been better to have put the time into your home and not been so obsessed with the sensational news. So he made these gorgeous paintings in spite of the chaos around him in the world, and he was English, and England was undergoing all kinds of problems, and yet he had beautiful paintings, and he kept making new ones. And his wife apparently sewed great big dolls and put costumes on them so that he could paint anytime he wanted, and he could pose them however he wanted. I thought that was pretty clever because he wouldn't have had to hire anybody. And she was his model too. And maybe it was because she got tired of having to sit still and be his model, so she made him a stuffed model instead. I always was kind of amused by that. But just remember, when you see a beautiful work of art or some architecture or hear the music of another era of all the chaos that was going on at the time, and yet these people had the stability and the sense to buckle down and create something beautiful. I think you can do that. Don't wait for things to get better. And now, we don't even have to wait till things get financially better. We have, it's such a wonderful era to be in. We have dollar stores, we have Goodwills, we have Walmart. They have a lot of nice things. As a matter of fact, behind me, my couches are covered in these fleece blankets because it's very old furniture. It's the grandparents' furniture. And I also have cushions to go with it that came from Walmart. The mirrors on the wall are from Walmart, and so is the painting and several other things. And I just wanted you to, in the lamp, and I just wanted you to know that there are very nice things there. And if you treat them nice, they will last a long time. I've had things from Walmart that have been here for, I would say, 20 years or more, and it takes a long time to wear them out. Living room furniture is basically pretty sturdy. So now they have so many things there, and so I would like you to check on that. If you're worried about money, go and look at some of those things too, and don't limit yourself to high-end things. As a matter of fact, you can get great gifts there, and I've read about people sending expensive things to their friends, and they say, I'll look at a video and it will say how to buy inexpensive gifts that look expensive, and their idea of inexpensive gifts was $100 for a candle. You can get, and I love smell and I love scent, so I always go around smelling all the new scents that are coming out in the wax melts and the candles. And I've noticed that after going to a high-end store and sensing all the candles, I'll go to Goodwill, not Goodwill, but Dollar Tree, and theirs are very nice. It's really, you could put a ribbon around them, and you could put a different label on them, and you could make lovely gifts. One thing I wanted to tell you about candles is those of you that are still burning candles, many years ago, it was illegal to sell candles that had lead wicks. You couldn't have lead in the wicks. But that kind of went by the way when there was a kind of a mass exodus of our businesses to China. And then the things that were coming back in these imports had the lead in the wicks. Well, when you go to the Dollar Tree, those the way you know is you look down on the candle and look at the wick, and if there's a little black spot in the middle of that wick, that white wick, then it has lead in it. But the Dollar Tree doesn't have so many. A lot of theirs are just plain wicking, just white string, that's dipped in wax, and so the Dollar Tree doesn't have so much leaded stuff in it. But I just wanted to mention that to you because some of you that feel like you have to have a huge income in order to be home might want to look at reducing your spending through some of these other stores. You can still have what you want. It just won't be the same brand, and you still can get quality items if you know about quality and what you're looking for. Now, I also want to just cover some things, and I hope you're working now. You've seen my teacup, and off you go now. You can go do something. And I'd like to discuss some figures of speech and sayings. And I had started my videos out by saying that we are losing our figures of speech in our language, and every era, every generation develops their own. And I really like the new figures of speech and sayings. The young people are so smart, and they are very funny. They're very humorous. But I wanted to tell you about some that we had in the olden days when I was growing up. And so we're going to start with the word water, okay? And the reason that we use figures of speech is it gives a depth of meaning. It enriches the language. It enriches people's understanding when you give it. And the Bible was full of them. There were, like the expression, skin off my teeth, I believe was an Old Testament expression, and many other things. So I'm going to start out with water. Now, when something is watered down, you would have to have some experience in life to understand what the word watered down in. For instance, you would take a drink of something and it's too strong. and so you would juice or something and you would put water in it. That's called watering it down. So watering it down has become a figure of speech for people who explain things and explain it away. They watered it down. Or a preacher who isn't really strong in preaching, so he just waters the message down, makes it soft on everybody. So watered it down. And then drip. We would call someone a drip if they were just boring. Or if they didn't care what they were like. They didn't have any kind of care about their life. They were a drip. And we would also say that someone was all wet, meaning they used to say wet behind the ears, meaning they were just born. All wet, meaning you're walking around in wet clothes and you're all bogged down with water and you don't have any sense. That's what it meant. And we would also say that someone was a wet blanket. Have you ever had a wet blanket? They're just hard to dry out, aren't they? And they're absolutely useless, and they make you get colder and colder. Unless, of course, you need a wet blanket in the heat. And in that respect, it's not too bad, as the water will evaporate and keep you cool. Now, here's the one that I did yesterday. Was pour cold water on somebody's enthusiasm, and I talked about how rude that is. Someone's happy about something, and so you pour cold water on it. And we used to say, don't rain on my parade. And that's from the times when we would go to the little local parade, and we would just hope it wouldn't rain because all those floats were out there, and many of them had tissue paper flowers or delicate things on them, and ribbons and things that would be ruined in the rain, so we would hope that it wouldn't rain on the parade. So pouring cold water on someone and raining on someone's parade means you're spoiling their fun and their enjoyment in life, and you're dragging down the enjoyment and knocking it out of them, because I don't know why people do that. Do you? It's very rude. Somebody will tell you they've got something new they want to show you, and the other person will make some kind of rude remark about it just to knock you over. So then we're going to graduate into people, because people have a way of discouraging other people, and I think the homemaker unfortunately gets it from both sides. I mean, just all around, and ever since the children were little, someone was always making a remark and trying to discourage you, and it's just like almost she was fair game. And if she decided she wanted to be home with her children, and even those of you who had to go to work and you had children, someone was always making some kind of rude remark. And so this is called cold water or rain. And they're giving you, if you want to look at it in a different way, instead of letting it knock you over, you can say they're giving you more wisdom. And so you find out about these people. So I'd like to explain a little bit about it. Is that people will start out making a rude remark or verbally attacking you for some little thing. And if you're not careful and you're not wise, you get started trying to defend that little thing, whether it's why you're home or why you're homeschooling or why your living room is gray, and trying to explain it and getting caught up in the quagmire of their device, and they don't really care about it. They are really attacking something else. They often attack the surface of something, but they're actually attacking something a little deeper. And so here's how a conversation might go. And you might not have this ever happen to you. And you might think this is not a very pleasant part of this video. And you can stop now if you want to. But I'll show you how you can turn it around and have a little fun with it. Okay. So someone, whether it's in your home or somebody that's, part of your life, a friend or someone else, will say something to you about maybe call you lazy. Let's say you're lazy. So then you launch right into, I'll have you know that I did the laundry today, and I went to the post office and got some boxes and brought them home, and I dug in the garden and I planted, and tell them a bunch of stuff. They really don't care about that. They just are after something else, basically an argument, and they once you start defending yourself, if you're right and if you have good proof, you'll notice that they start changing it into an attack on you. Like, well, I never liked you in the first place. Okay, so there they've changed it. And if you go and you start arguing about that, you're in a lot of trouble. So what you do, what I discovered that was the most important thing to do when you are on a certain subject, like how much work did you do today? You say, my work is my business and I'm the boss of it and I'm taking care of it. Don't worry about it. Okay. So they find out they can't get anywhere with you with that. So they say, you know, I never liked you in the first place. You'll say, well, my work is my business and I'm the one that's looking after it. Please don't worry about it. I'll be fine. So then they go on to something else and they'll say, you aren't very supportive of your family. We talked about that little weasel word before. That meant you didn't have a job outside the home. So you'll just go back and then each time you repeat your statement, but you shorten it a little bit. You'll say, well, this is my work now and that's what I'm doing. Okay, so then they'll change it and they will say something like, nobody likes you. So don't get into talking about that. That's a rabbit trail. Go back to the first point that they attack that you decide you're going to defend. And you'll say, this is my job and it's none of your business. And then they will go back and say, do you ever change anything you say, or you are a one-track mind? And you'll say, this is my job. You see, you shorten it each time until they get it. You know, they don't want to get it. They want to just keep bothering you. So then they will switch it to something else and say, you're not very popular. It's always going to be something personal. You don't want to go there. Just stay with, I'm doing a fine job on my own. Thank you. When I need your advice, I'll let you know. And then if they keep going and way down that track, you just keep shortening the sentence till this is my job. I'm doing well. This is my job. This is my business. And the other one is, and I'll thank you not to say anything about it. And then till you get to shorten that a little bit, and you'll finally say, it's not right to talk to me like that. And then you shorten it to, it's not right. And then you shorten it to, be quiet. And so eventually these people aren't going to get anywhere with you because you're not typical of how they can manipulate other people. They're used to being able to go down a long, long track and then accuse you of not approving of college or not approving of business, or then they'll accuse you of not believing in science. So they'll just go everywhere they can because they have recognized that you are an old-fashioned lady, and they think that homemaking is old-fashioned. It really isn't. It's very up-to-date in every era that we live in. It's not something that's old-fashioned. Yes, it's as historical as marriage is. It's not old-fashioned. It's just up-to-date for the era that we live in. And so they are used to attacking that and saying, you know, you're living in a bubble, you're living in a dream world, and they'll just go on and on about that. But they can't defeat you if you won't let them take you on a track. So what you do is you decide which thing you're going to say, and then you shorten the sentence each time till you get down to one word. And usually they will give up and leave in disgust. And then, of course, if they're troublesome people, they may spread around that you're argumentative. And one of the things of the newest kind of the era that we live in is that people feel they're being attacked if you don't agree with them. That's a new one. In other words, if you're staying home and you're a homemaker or you're homeschooling your children, they think you're attacking them because they don't. This is the way it's been going on since about the 1980s. I first noticed this in the 1980s. If you believed, I'm trying to think, if you went to church, you were attacking those who weren't. If you liked literature and, you know, costumes, you were attacking people who didn't. If you wanted to do something, you were attacking someone who didn't. This is so strange. And if you had a talent, if you could play the piano or you could sing or you could sew, that meant that you didn't like those who didn't. I don't know where that came in and when that started, but I have just noticed it as a pattern. And the other thing that kind of in the current era, and doesn't mean anybody of any particular age, old people do it too, and that is if you say something that's different than what they believe, that's a different narrative, or even if you kindly give more information or something like that, they feel that you're being hostile, or they feel that you are being aggressive. This is something new too that's come out, and I don't know what it's called. I don't know if they've even got a name for it, but I have noticed this more and more. But the only way I feel that you can defeat it is to stick to your script, the one that you believe, and just shorten it until it is, until finally you might say, that's all I have to say, or that's enough, and the subject is closed, or something like that. But I find it quite interesting and maybe even humorous, because it makes great stories. And like I said, you can create characters for your next novel. And they are also helping you. Now, one time, someone wrote me in a comment that I didn't publish that I was nothing but an old lady whose skin was sagging and must be in her 80s by now and didn't have much time left and didn't have an education, didn't even have a high school diploma, and that also was extremely ugly. Well, I was kind of green at that time and when we first started out, and it bothered me a little bit, so I was stewing over it, and I was, especially the education part. I mean, how do these people think they know anything about you, And the person had said that they, on the other hand, were highly educated. And so I was stewing over it, and I forgot to eat that night. I just wasn't interested in dinner. Everyone else was eating, and I was kind of putting things away and walking around. I had a lot more energy. And the next morning, I weighed myself on the scale, and I had lost 1 pound. So see, these people can help you lose weight. So ladies, I hope that you will look at your life at home as having a greater cause than just cleaning up after everyone. That eventually, the things that you do will build a reputation for your home and a reputation for you. Eventually, it will make a painting at the end of your life in a way. Think about how long it takes. You need to have some kind of interest like painting, so you see how long something takes, and what a brush stroke is like, and how sometimes people get caught up in these little brush strokes, but they don't stand back and look at how these little tiny brush strokes make up the whole painting. And so I want you to leave comments and give me some ideas of what you think that means. And remember that you are part of something greater. When you're a homemaker, you're part of something great that's going to come, and the best for you is yet to come. You think about that every day. Now, someone that I was talking to recently told me that she started eating a little more protein in the daytime and not so many breads. It's interesting, we buy our groceries, and the first thing that's gone are our fresh things and our meats. So the only thing left is a bit of bread, and so we eat that. But she said when she stopped eating so much bread and started to increase her protein, that she got up with a very optimistic attitude the next day, so that if the day was gray and gloomy and the money was low and the news was bad, she was happy. So I would like to hear if you have tried that and if that works for you, because I think it works for me too. And the more carbs that you eat, especially the simple carbs and the sugars, the more it can depress you, because that is energy that's used up very quickly, and it'll leave you tired quickly too. So ladies, I hope that today you've had enough time to get things done. I haven't talked very long today, and my notes. Oh, I do have one more book, and it's called Jane Austen's Little Instruction Book. Now, whatever you may think of Jane Austen, at least the Jane Austen stories came out at a time when we needed to have some historical things, to think about, and this was written in 1995. It doesn't have it's called Jane Austen's Little Instruction Book. It doesn't have an author. It's just a collection of sayings, and so I'll just read some of the sayings to you, and it has little, I don't know what you call it, silhouette pictures in it. This is what it looks like, and it has silhouette pictures in it. And it's a nice little coffee table book. Now, some of it might not be what you desire in your home. If I always felt like if there was a saying or something that you didn't understand or you didn't like, you could always put a picture over it. Keep the book. Okay, this is from the book Emma. Nobody who has not been in the interior of a family can say what the difficulties of any individual of that family may be. Isn't that the truth? And how people can judge you and judge your home just by what they think or what they perceive. And remember, I told you in a previous video, this idea of perception, I don't know who invented this perception thing, and I heard it was someone, I don't even want to say who his name, but a political figure. And they believed that what you perceive was more important than what was actually true, and that what you made people perceive was more important than what you actually were, which I don't believe, because I think you have to look a little bit further. And even the Lord said, don't judge on the outward appearance, but on the heart. And so people go around saying, well, you gave me the perception that homemaking was just this breeze and it was just so easy, and now I'm into it and it's hard. And but remember that perception is not what is the truth. See, you might perceive something, but you might be wrong, and perception can be deception on your part. So I like this saying, nobody who has not been in the interior of a family can say what the difficulties of any individual of that family can be. Okay, here's one from Pride and Prejudice. Vanity and pride are different things, though the words are so often used synonymously. A person may be proud without being vain. Pride relates more to our opinion of ourselves, vanity to what we would have others think of us. That's kind of like on, giving someone a perception. Friendship is certainly the finest balm for the pangs of disappointment. Isn't that the truth? Remember where you are, and do not run on in the wild manner that you are suffered to do so at home. Yes, that means, be a little cautious in somebody else's house and be careful what you say and don't run off at the mouth. So anyway, here's some more really adorable silhouettes. And ladies, I have been talking for 42 minutes. I am about ready to quit and wish you a wonderful day. And I hope that you will look at your homemaking as something greater than what you see on the surface, that it's going to have more depth. You're leaving a legacy. You're painting a picture. You're writing a story. And these things are so important to you and to your family. And to stand by what you're doing, don't feel inferior about it. Don't get into arguments with people who are just looking for a way to bring you down and make you unhappy. And make sure that you stand up for your life at home, if you can, in a kind way. And so, ladies, I hope that you will start your day with prayer, and that you will turn your the list of things that you need to do and that you want to do, over to God and pray about it. And if you're anxious about anything, be sure to pray. And if you are uncertain about anything, be sure to pray. And remember that homemaking existed from the beginning of time, but it doesn't mean that you are doing something old-fashioned, because for today we're doing something that's new-fashioned. It's just that we're in a role that has always been from the beginning of time. So ladies, I do hope you got something done. I've only got to talk for 45 minutes, not an hour like I usually do, but please do leave a list on the comments of what you were able to do. And maybe next time I'll be doing something instead of just sitting here talking. So thank you for coming, and God bless, and see you next time.